I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250 markets plus across the United States of America, and of course, Sirius XM, ESPN Radio, Channel 80. Number to call up as always is 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. Time for Straight Talk. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. We got a lot of stuff coming at you today. I am coming at you live from Radio Row in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Mall of America, site of Super Bowl 52 this Sunday between the New England Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, we got some stuff to get into in regards to the Super Bowl talk, particularly when you consider what Robert Kraft had to say about the great Tom Brady. Because basically stripping power from Bill Belichick's hands, saying that Tom Brady can stay for as long as he wants, and he's not going to be forced out. It's not going to ever be anything like that. It's going to be about, it's going to be about Tom Brady and what he wants to do. But I got a different story that's on my mind right now that has to lead the way. It has to lead the pack. There's no way around this. There's no way to avoid this, ladies and gentlemen. The news that came down the pike that the Golden State Warriors would talk to LeBron James about becoming a member of the Golden State Warriors. Now, before we get all over LeBron, let me say this. I made some calls this morning. I received some calls this morning. LeBron James had absolutely positively nothing to do with this story. He's not thinking about, nor is he considering going to the Golden State Warriors. This is a story that's emanating out of the camp of the Golden State Warriors, who put that out there to one of our reporters, Chris Haynes, essentially expressing their interest in the best player in the world. Now, you have to understand that this is what the Golden State Warriors do. When everybody's sleeping on a star and a possibility of him ending up with their franchise, they come through the back door and they get you. Look what they did with Kevin Durant a year ago. It's what they did. They said Kevin Durant, everybody talking about the Los Angeles, everybody talking about saying it OKC, or he might go to Miami, or Washington, or to the Los Angeles Clippers. And the next thing you know, a 73-9 team that were champions before they lost the Game 7 of the NBA Finals scooped him up 3 weeks after beating him in the Western Conference Finals. So the mentality is that they would sit up there and say, you know what? What we will do is we will sit up there and we will think about this and we will pursue LeBron James. Having said all of that, there is 2 points that I want to make more than anything else. Point number one. LeBron James had better not even think about it. There is nothing that would tarnish his legacy worse than if he decided to make this move. Being the mercenary that he is, or the mercenary that people believe him to be, if he were to decide to go to the Golden State Warriors to even sit down and have a cup of damn coffee with them, it would be a disgrace. You got Kevin Durant, you got Klay Thompson, you got Steph Curry. I mean, joining that, it wouldn't even be fair. I mean, when you talk about the greatness, as Ric Flair, the nature boy, once said, on many occasions rather, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. If you want to join the man and you never want to compete against him, how the hell are you great? It cannot happen. It just cannot happen. Period. There's no way around it. LeBron can't let that happen. The other thing is this. If something like this could even happen, or were to happen, what do y'all think it would do to the NBA? Because I'm here to tell you, I don't think anything would be worse for the NBA than this. Don't give me how Magic played with Worthy and Kareem and all of this other stuff in the 80s. You competed against the Boston Celtics. And oh, by the way, while you were doing that, Magic was drafted. Worthy was drafted. Norm Nixon was on the team already before they brought Byron Scott to the mix. So I don't want to hear that. I don't even want to think about that. That's number one. But number two, and more importantly, why should anybody support the NBA? Why should anybody support the NBA product if something like this would have happened? You're taking away competition. Competition is what makes the sports world go round. Who the hell wants to watch just one lopsided contest after another? Could you compete with somebody, pretty please, with sugar on top? One of the reasons one of y'all want to see LeBron in the finals again is because guess what? He gets to go against Kevin Durant and the crew. One of the reasons you lament the greatness of the Warriors is because it doesn't seem like anybody that can compete with them. And we're starving for somebody to step up and actually compete with them. You take away that reality where there's absolutely positively nobody that's on their level. What the hell do you have? And as far as LeBron, let me say this, and I've stated this for the record. I'm not calling Kevin Durant any names. I never was. I know he's a great basketball player and a great person, but I thought specifically the move to the Golden State Warriors is the weakest move that I've ever seen by a superstar. If LeBron James would have ever go to the Golden State Warriors, this would eclipse that. This would eclipse that. Going to the enemy who's fully loaded without you, who spanked you, and by the end of June, it'll be 3 times in 4 years unless Cleveland fails to get to the finals. And then you turned around and joined them. It is the epitome of weakness. It cannot be excused. It cannot be explained away. It cannot be okayed. And nobody should tolerate that. No, I don't think I don't. And I don't care what anybody says. You can't do it. You can't allow it. You talk about completely altering and disrupting the balance of power to the point where there's not even any competition, but you still want people to pay for the NBA product? Are you out your mind? It cannot happen. It cannot happen. So LeBron supposedly had nothing to do with this story. LeBron supposedly is not even remotely interested in the Golden State Warriors. And assuming that's true, and he deserves the benefit of the doubt, this is not a story coming from him. Let's hope and pray there's absolutely no shred of truth. And by the way, in fairness to reporter Chris Haynes out there covering the Warriors, he never said LeBron was considering anything. He said the Golden State Warriors will want to talk to LeBron, which I'm sure they would. But I have profound respect for the Warriors organization, Joe Lacob, Myers, the GM, Steve Kerr, the coach, etc. But damn, you're winning without LeBron. Do you really need him? I mean, talk about stacking the damn deck. This is doing a hell of a lot more than that. I mean, my God, do I have to pull out a Webster's dictionary and remind people of the definition of what the hell competition is supposed to be? I mean, I think I'm going to pull it up. I mean, I got an iPhone. I got all the apps in the world. I'm quite sure I got a dictionary app in here somewhere. I'm paraphrasing, but maybe I should look up the word competition. Maybe I should look up the word parity. I mean, what's the deal? Somebody needs to tell me. Somebody needs to explain this to me, because that's where I'm coming from with it. And all I'm saying to you is that you cannot have this. You cannot have a situation where you want this going on. I'm just looking up some of the definitions, y'all. I pulled out my phone and I looked up some of the definitions of the word competition. The act of competing, rivalry for supremacy, a prize, a contest for some prize, honor, or advantage. The rivalry offered by a competitor. These are definitions in the dictionary about competition. Tell me how the hell LeBron James going to the Warriors applies to any of that. You eradicate competition. And anybody out there, and I mean anybody out there, who has a competitive bone in their body that would endorse this kind of move being made, you should be ashamed of yourself. LeBron James had damn well better not be considering this. The Warriors had damn well better not pursue this. This is not good for basketball. This is not good for the NBA. This isn't good for sports. Not if this happens. I don't give a damn what anybody says. 888-729-3776 says 888-SAY-ESPN. Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage of America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. This cannot happen. It cannot be allowed. I mean, it should be so egregious. LeBron should have a press conference talking about how despicable and disgusting such a notion is of him considering the Warriors. He should come out front and center and say, oh, hell no. This is not happening. I would never consider such a thing. Chances are, though, he won't. Because he likes his name in the news. He likes us talking about it. He likes giving folks heart attacks over the possibilities of his moves. Either way you slice it. I've covered the NBA for over 2 decades. And if LeBron James were to join, because you have to get rid of somebody in order to get him, just to create space. So we don't know if Draymond Green would be there. But if LeBron James were to join Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Golden State Warriors, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I'd watch the NBA for a year. I really don't. That's how adamant I am about this. And I mean it. 888-SAY-ESPN. We'll get into some NFL talk. My man Ryan Clark, NFL analyst for ESPN, will come on next to talk to us about the Super Bowl before I got to your phone calls. You are listening to Stephen A. live from Radio Row in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Very cold, very freezing Minneapolis, Minnesota. Inside the Mall of America. Minneapolis, Minnesota, site of Super Bowl 52.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio. 250 plus markets across the United States of America and, of course, Sirius XM Channel 80. As promised, my guest on the line right now, NFL analyst extraordinaire, hanging out here in Minneapolis somewhere. I mean, you know, he saw me yesterday and stuff. Don't have time to come by the table today because he's busy doing a bunch of television work. But he did take time out of his schedule to bless me with his presence. I'm talking about the one and only Ryan Clark. He's on the line with us right now. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, my guy, man? Listen, you kind of far away, man. It's getting cold out here.
You listen, man, getting cold. It's -2 degrees. -2 degrees. It's pretty bad.
Before
right
I saw
now.
you, man, it wasn't like this. I think you brought this weather with you.
You think I brought the weather? Because I'm cold as ice. I'm cold as ice,
Oh,
Rick
my
James.
goodness.
I'm cold as ice. Ryan Clark, let's get into the Super Bowl right now. As we sit here today, and first of all, the news of the day has been about Mr. Robert Kraft talking about how, him and Jonathan Kraft talking about how Tom Brady can basically leave when he wants to. Have you heard that about an NFL player before?
I've never heard that about an NFL player. We always talk about this game, how short the career span is for football players, how you get ushered out of the league more often than you get to leave on your own, or more often than you get to make the decision to go. And for Tom Brady to have this type of cachet, this type of respect from his owners, from the organization, I think it's huge. I think it's a testament to what he's done. But I'm still shocked, even with all that Mr. Kraft will come out and publicly say Tom Brady gets to stay here as long as he wants.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up, because here's what I peeled from it. What it made me peel from it, Ryan, was this. I'm looking at Bill Belichick and I'm saying maybe he really was forced to get rid of Garoppolo. Maybe it wasn't done of his own volition. Did you adopt that mentality when you read that story?
No, absolutely. My first thought was, where there was all the smoke, there had been fire. That some of these things that were coming out of this camp, some of the run-ins and the disagreements between Mr. Kraft, between Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, some of this stuff was true. That it wasn't just something that people had made up outside of the New England Patriots organization. And it was often said throughout the time people were reporting on it that Mr. Kraft felt a certain way about Tom Brady, that Mr. Kraft felt like he owed Tom Brady a large part of the success that they've had. And him coming out and saying this only shows me that if Tom Brady wanted Garoppolo gone, if Tom Brady wanted to feel the comfort of being the guy that's the starting quarterback for the Patriots with no incumbent, with no runner-up, with no next up, that Tom Brady could get it because Mr. Kraft feels this way about it.
If that's the case, do you think that Bill Belichick, it's possible that he may not want to be a part of this and he may want to leave because of it? Because the mentality is Bill Belichick will never go anywhere. Mr. Kraft will never let him go anywhere. He's a Patriot for life himself. But based on something like this, where Bill Belichick gets the decision stripped from his power, that's the kind of thing that a coach like him could say, hey, you know what? I don't need to be a part of this anymore. What about that thought process?
I think it comes on what you value. If you value the longevity you've had there, the consistency of winning that you've had there, and knowing that Tom Brady will be there for a few more years, knowing that you don't have to go necessarily start over from scratch in a new organization, if those things are more important to you than having the final say on who you keep and who you trade, I think that's how you make your decision. And only Bill Belichick can answer that. The one thing we do know about him is he likes to run his own show. Bill Belichick likes to make decisions for himself and for the organization. And so for this to be something that's kind of taken out of his hands, it does make me wonder what their relationships will be like moving forward.
Ryan Clark right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let's get into this game itself. Break this down for me. We're just 3 days away from Super Bowl 52. Where were you a couple of weeks ago when the outcome had been decided and you knew who would be playing in the Super Bowl? What were your thought process then, and how is it different from where you are now, if at all?
So initially, I thought New England Patriots. Tom Brady had done it again. Tom Brady comes back against the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL, a great passing defense, and it's just old hat for the New England Patriots. And you're playing this team with this backup quarterback in the Philadelphia Eagles, the underdogs. I go, New England Patriots, they win another one. Tom Brady gets 6. And then as the week continued to go on, I started to study more film. I started to put some of these films and videos I needed to put together for Sports Centers and NFL Live. I looked at the Philadelphia Eagles and I said, oh, this team has a chance. This team can rotate 6 or 7 guys up front to be fresh to rush Tom Brady in the fourth quarter. Doug Peterson has called plays to find ways to get Nick Foles comfortable. Oh, by the way, the running game has been exceptional on the outside of the tackles. And today, I had to make my first pick, and I went with the Philadelphia Eagles 24-20 over the New England Patriots.
You picked the Eagles 24-20 to win the Super Bowl, Ryan Clark?
I picked the Eagles. Underdogs no more, Stephen A.
Are you being emotional with this? Are you being emotional, Ryan? Because who knows with you? Who knows with you from time to time, Ryan? Are you being emotional?
Hey, I'm not being emotional. I'm just telling you the real. Listen, if LeBron James can go have conversations with the Golden State Warriors in the offseason, if a max deal is offered, then the Philadelphia Eagles can beat the New England Patriots.
Fine enough. You know what? You brought it up. I'll go there. What do you think, shifting gears before I let you get on out of here? Because you actually are a great athlete and you know a little bit about basketball. Just a little bit. But let me ask you.
Not Stephen A.
Just a little bit.
I know a little bit.
There we go. I'm glad you know it in basketball. But here's the deal, Ryan Clark. How would you feel if LeBron James was having conversations about joining the Golden State Warriors? As an athlete, how would that make you feel?
I remember listening to you talk about Kevin Durant. I remember agreeing with you with many of the things you said about the decision. You didn't say anything to me about Kevin Durant. You talked about the decision.
The decision.
If LeBron James makes a decision to even interview, to even talk to the Golden State Warriors, I think it immediately becomes a bigger disappointment than what Kevin Durant did. And now I understand the rules allow it, and it's part of the game. But when you're LeBron James, when you're one of the greatest basketball players ever, and this team has been your biggest rival, why would you join them? Why would you go be a part of them? Why would you prove so many people right that say you always need a stack deck? I hope he doesn't go. I hope this doesn't happen. I think it'll be bad for LeBron James. I think it'll be bad for the league.
Ryan Clark, appreciate you, buddy, man. I'll see you around, all right? Thanks again, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, brother.
The one and only Ryan Clark right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. 888-729-3776, 888-SAY-ESPN. It's a special moment for me coming up next. This man has worked at ESPN for many years. Colleague, my buddy, I love him so much. It's so great to see him, and I can't even tell y'all how much he has taught me about the game of football. There's a reason I'm so damn arrogant and bombastic when it comes to my football these days. It's because I was taught by this man. His name is Merrill Hodge, and he's up next with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
This is a special moment for me, y'all. It always is a special moment when I get an opportunity to talk to my buddy. We haven't seen each other in a few months, but an extraordinary NFL analyst, one of the best people that I know. I love him dearly. My man, Merrill Hodge, is sitting right in front of me. What's going on, Big Tom? How are you, man?
Of all the places I got today, I cared about one.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Right,
you know
it's
it.
good to see you.
You know, it's always great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, please, anytime. I wish I could have you longer. I'm going to have you. But listen, before we get into the Super Bowl talk to me about this Your Call football. What's YCF?
All right,
you're a coach with this. What is this? And what is this about?
This is First Take on steroids, Xbox on steroids.
Really?
Fantasy on steroids. Steve and I were playing real football, professional players. So we'll get the kind of players that just got cut. So we're going to play good professional football, but the fan will call the plays. They call them in all scenarios. We have no kickoffs. We have no punts. Once we cross the 50, we go for it on fourth down. So what I got to do is first and 10, I throw a bundle of plays up. That's 3 plays. The fan can select what play they want to run. The majority rules, and that's what I send out on the field. So they control, they dictate. And so you have to move. You have to get first downs and score touchdowns because, you win points. I mean, you're competing against somebody. You can win money, prizes, and there's a lot of things you win by having success. So you can't just call a play to call a play. You're going to have to figure out what's the defense, how well is that defense in some areas, what's your quarterback good at, what your runner's good at.
Where did the concept of this come from?
There's a group out of Boston, and when they presented it to me, I was like, I'd misunderstood it, and I'm like, that's crazy. Ain't nobody going to stay involved in that. So I go to New York, we do a mock of it, of a college game. Stephen, the first half went so fast because I'm trying to get a feel for my personnel. I'm starting to get a feel for I'm starting to call plays that are effective, and I'm starting to move, and I'm watching, between me and another guy, we're going first and second, and we're interchanging who's first based on the success we're having with our plays. But they've done their due diligence. They've explored it well. There's, almost 300 million fans, from just football fans to gamers to fantasy, that have always wanted to have some stake in the game where they have a say. I mean, listen, what the Jacksonville-Pittsburgh game, what was one of the big things debated and talked about? That fourth down plays.
Yes.
Fourth down. Why don't you do a quarterback sneak?
Yep.
Well, now, quarterback sneak would probably be an option, so there's not going to be – actually, I could flip the mic around and go, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
The fan will have a say in every play, and that's what we go with. So,
and in this league, you're going to be one of the coaches.
Yeah, I'll be a head coach.
And I'm wondering why. That's right. Let me look at this right now. Mike Sherman's going to be another head coach. Kurt Schottenheimer, defensive coordinator. Schottenheimer name. We all know what that means.
Yeah.
So you got Tom Rossley as the offensive coordinator with the quarterbacks, and Don Clemens as the defensive assistant.
Because we want to help guys continue to live. Listen, we're not trying to beat the NFL. This is not what we're about. But we want to help guys keep working on their craft, get better at it, and help you get to the NFL.
How come you're not coaching in the NFL? You know more football than most. I'm here to tell you that right now.
Stephen, I got such respect for people coaching the NFL. I was just talking to Rod Woodson a little bit ago, and it's just – there's such a commitment that I'm just not willing to put that commitment. And this way I could be a GM, head coach, and be a part of a game I love. And it's a 7-week season.
I got you.
And we get to develop players, keep the game alive, teach the game, grow the game, and give the fans an opportunity to be as intimate with it as they've ever been.
Merrill Hodge, NFL analyst extraordinaire, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let's get to the Super Bowl because, I have to hear from you, sir.
Let's do it.
You got the New England Patriots going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, the game will be decided by whether or not the Eagles can get to Tom Brady with their front four without sending a house. If you can get to Tom Brady, you win. If you can't get to Tom Brady, you lose. Merrill Hodge handicapped this game for me. What are you looking at?
And I think that is definitely one aspect of it. And I'd advantage Philly on that because of their rotation. And you may not see it early in the game. It's where it's going to pay off is in the third and fourth quarter. So it may not be a big factor early, but it's going to be a factor later. And then Philly has the one thing that you ultimately have to have a shot of winning consistently in this league, but beating a guy like Brady. You have to have a way to control the tempo.
Okay.
If you watch what Jacksonville did, They did exactly what you need to do in 2 of the 3 phases. They played great defense. They controlled the game by the way they're on the football. They just didn't complement that running in the passing game enough.
Right.
Aside from, had they got that play off on 3rd down, we might be talking differently about the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Because instead of that being a 1st down, it's 3rd and 13. And
well, I ain't going to lie to you. Thank God. I did not want to see Blake Bortles versus Nick Foles. I did not want to see that, Nero Hodge, and I'm not apologizing for that. But go ahead.
Right.
But go ahead.
Well, the Eagles have that. They have that physical presence that allows them to control the game. But the way they can complement it, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Foles. I know they say, well, listen, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. Here's what he does have. He has enough time to be a starter now where they have worked through all the kinks. You could tell the last few games he's a comfortable cat. They're calling plays that work for him.
But what about Bill Belichick having 2 weeks to prepare for this man?
Well, I don't think Bill Belichick's main focus is going to be Nick Foles. They look at what's the thing that can hurt us the most. What does it? What is it?
And what is that?
It just might be their way they run the football. To put it in Nick Foles' hands. See, I'm not worried about Nick Foles. In fact, I'd like Nick Foles to have to carry the load here. What I got to do is make him carry the load. So that's why I'm saying this physical presence and what they do in the running game, it gets negated, it gets overlooked. That may be the most critical element of this entire game, because if Philly can do that, then Nick Foles will complement it. Nick Foles can complement it. Now, if he has to carry it, I'm going to be on your side going, we got some problems.
Real quick, you mentioned to me a difference in philosophy. You were raving about Doug Peterson when we were off the air and his level of aggression, the kind of aggression that he shows, which is antithetical to what we're accustomed to seeing from the Philadelphia Eagles. Real quick, explain that.
Just go to halftime. Both AFC and NFC Championship game. Jacksonville has 55 seconds, I believe 3 timeouts. Eagles have 29 seconds, I think 3 timeouts too, with a lead. And they going out and up. They smoke down the field and get points with 29 seconds left. Okay, that isn't, hey, we just decided to be like that. That's what Doug Peterson came in and established from the very beginning. That's how we're going to be. That's how I am. That's how you're going to be. So we're not surprised by it. Why are the Patriots really so good? What is maybe their legacy with Bill Belichick? Maybe the greatest head coach ever for situations. Maybe he prepared his group better than anybody for those little situations that might come up. They don't always come up, but they might. Well, Peterson, he has that X factor, if you will. He's trying to prepare his guys for those situations that might come up, and here's how we're going to do it. We're not going to put our hands in our pocket. We're not going to say, hey, we get white flag, we're attacking. And most people don't know that because they're not on a national stage like the Patriots have been for so long. But you'll see that at the Super Bowl. You will see that mindset.
Bottom line, Patriots, Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl 52. Who you going with?
27-24 Eagles.
You're picking the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think that's a really good shot, Stephen A. I really think they do.
Damn, I might have to think about my pick.
Yeah.
I might have to think about my pick. I don't like going against my man Merrill Hodge. I don't know about this right now.
Teams win championships, bro. Now, listen, I know they got the greatest of all time on the other side, but I'll go back to if I can neutralize 2 or 3 series for him, I'll put him in a position where I control the tempo of this game.
But can the Eagles' defense do that like Jacksonville's defense? Because Jacksonville defense is number 2 in the league, man.
You know, people always talk about like how Jacksonville, they pressed. Let me tell you this. If you pull the tape in there, Jacksonville was not pressing those guys. There were moments where they got in and out of that, but they didn't just, people act like they just lined up and played man-to-man. No, they did not. They sat, Philadelphia, they press. They don't just sit back all day for you. They have a lot of press concepts.
And they got the speed and the athletes to match what Jacksonville had, too.
And here's what I do like. See, everybody gets caught up in sacks. They hit people. They disrupt people. They bother people. Listen, I have seen Tom Brady, like, shaking his boots and flinch all over the place after being hit. If you remember the Kansas City Monday night game way back when they got throttled, I saw times where Tom Brady, with nobody around because he'd been hit earlier, was ducking and hiding already from getting hit. That's just what listen, anybody would start playing like that. But if you can hit him like that like Philly does, I'm not worried about sacks. Hitting him, that's where it's going to make a difference later in the game, and they can do that.
My man, Merrill Hodge. I miss you, buddy.
I love you,
too. Love you too, man.
Man.
So good to see you, my man.
Buddy.
The one and only Merrill Hodge, NFL analyst extraordinaire. Keep in mind, your call football, Merrill Hodge is one of the coaches.
Baby.
Make the call, baby. Make the call. Merrill Hodge right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Back with your calls and more in a minute.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio, 888-729-3776. It's 888-SAY-ESPN. Let's go to my man Carlton in Tampa. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Carlton? How are you?
I'm good, but I gotta.
You know what? I really resent. I shouldn't have taken your call because let me guess, it's about 80 degrees in Tampa right now, isn't it? Tell it to Carlton.
78. Yeah, 78.
Oh,
it's brutal here.
It's -2 here. -2. Go ahead.
I got a question. I got a question that Alex Trebek should use on Jeopardy, and the question is, which former Philadelphia sports writer and longtime Patriot Steeler fan is climbing the top 10 list of American traitors with a bullet as he is doing his best to get himself inducted into the New England Patriots Zombie Cult Sock Puppet Hall of Fame? And the answer to that question would be Stephen A. Smith, okay? ESPN, does that stand for the Extreme Spin Patriots Network? Is that what ESPN stands for nowadays?
Extreme Spin Patriot Network. That's a good one, Carlton. That's a good one. I beg to differ, but go ahead. Make a point.
Because while I'm other media enterprises like USA Today, who wrote a story yesterday hating the Patriots, New England's role as villain, and other networks which are covering the fact that Steve Spagnuolo, who was the linebackers coach of the Eagles when the Patriots last faced them in the Super Bowl, said he is convinced that they knew the defensive signals in the 2003 Super Bowl. Or other stories that have come out in the last day or two, like Orlando Pace, the left tackle of the Los Angeles Rams, saying that they were convinced that New England had filmed the walkthrough before the 2001 Super Bowl, the first one that the Patriots got. And, of course, we'd know all that if it had not Roger Goodell destroyed all the Patriots' videotapes that he confiscated. So we'd know if the walkthroughs were in that library. But, of course, he was carrying Robert Kraft's water. And speaking about Robert Kraft, the reason why he is now saying that Tom Brady can play as long as he wants is because he knows that Bill Belichick threw Tom under the bus for Bill Belichick's second major cheating scandal, Deflategate, back in 2015. And he knows Bill has been the architect behind all of their cheating enterprises out there. So he's siding with Tom as opposed to Bill now.
So in other words, Carlton, is that your way of saying that you believe that Tom Brady has more to do with the success of the New England Patriots than Bill Belichick all of these years?
Oh, he definitely has more to do with it. I mean, Tom Brady wasn't even Bill Belichick's pick. It was Bobby Greer who selected Tom Brady back in 2000, and Bill fired him 2 weeks. Bill fired him 2 weeks after the 2000 draft. So Tom Brady fell into his lap. He had no idea what he had until, of course, Mo Lewis put Drew Bledsoe in the hospital in the second game of the 2001 season.
Right. We only got 30 seconds, so go ahead, Carlton. Make your point.
And Bill's claim to fame, he has a losing record outside Tom Brady being his quarterback, a significant losing record. So, but I'm more focused on Stephen A. climbing the charts at the top 10 American traitors with a bullet. Eagle,
wait until tomorrow. Wait until tomorrow, because boy, do I have something to show you on First Take and then right here on this radio show. You think you were disgusted with me before, Carlton. You wait until tomorrow. I've got something in store for you, buddy. I've got something in store for you. Until then, you take it easy. 888-729-3776. That's 888-SAY-ESPN. We will continue with this show talking about Kraft and Belichick and Brady, the greatness of the New England Patriots, and LeBron James running away from his own great legacy. I'll explain. Hour number 2 up next.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Disclaimer, you will not be transported to the top of the world. In the unlikely event you find yourself at the Arctic Circle, seek shelter from the elements immediately to avoid frostbite and or hypothermia. Geico will not be responsible if you find yourself in a cave or crevasse with a lonely abominable snowman, who in all likelihood will force you to play games including but not limited to Go Fish, charades, Chinese checkers, or his personal favorite, Red Rover, send Yeti on over. Geico is not liable for any damages, either physical or emotional.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
That's right, y'all heard me. I was sitting there talking live from Radio Row, Minneapolis, Minnesota, site of Super Bowl 52. And it is my honor and privilege to have my next guest. He's pretty damn good. I don't give a damn that he struggled just a little bit. Still got the Tennessee Titans to the playoff. Still's got skills. He can play. He's no scrub because I'm allergic to scrubs. Okay, but he is no scrub. I'm talking about Mr. Marcus Mariota, quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're here promoting Spam. That's right.
Yep.
And I want you to talk a little bit about what you're doing with Spam because I had it on TV. And I had it put up there. Bam!
Yeah.
Right there for everybody to see. Talk about your association with
Spam. It's a lot of fun. I grew up on Spam. It just happened that they're here in Minnesota. Their headquarters are here. And just kind of sparked up a relationship, and I have an opportunity to just kind of share Spam and share my story.
Listen, they say because obviously you're from Hawaii, and they talk about a lot of Hawaiians eat a lot of Spam.
Yeah.
That's actually true because I know a few, and they actually do eat a lot of Spam. You said it was part of many of your mom's dishes. Obviously, I'm reading from it, but damn it, it's the truth. I'm going to read it. Okay, the great thing about a product like Spam is its versatility and convenience. With the game this weekend, it's the perfect time to try a Spam recipe such as Spam sliders and Spam fries. You like that? See, I had to make sure that. Spam fries, we got to talk about that one. Listen, let me talk to you here at the Super Bowl. And obviously, when everybody thinks about you, they think about the Tennessee Titans. You made the playoffs. You finished with a pretty decent year. But what were your personal struggles this year? People talked about throwing in the pocket. They talked about your accuracy wasn't there. They talked about whatever it was that they want to talk about. As you highlight this year for you, what were your issues, whatever they may be?
It definitely was from my footwork. And the inaccurate throws, the inconsistency, really just stemmed from that. I learned from a coach a long time ago that you throw with your feet. If you got a solid base and you can throw really into any window. And for me, I got a little lazy. I didn't really work on the fundamentals of it, and it showed on Sundays. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to make some of the throws that I usually can make.
What were some of the things your teammates were saying to you about that? Because obviously the year before, they weren't saying the things about you. I'm not talking about your teammates. I'm talking about the public at large watching. They weren't saying the same things about you last year that they were pointing out this year. What were your teammates saying to you?
Don't let it affect you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't control the noise. You can't control what outsiders think of you. As long as you believe in what we're doing here, that's all that matters. And I told him I appreciated it. And we went on a little run at the end of the year, and that's all you can really ask for.
What would you do, Marcus Mariota? What would you do? What will you do differently this offseason in preparation for next season that you may not have done last year?
I'm going to have the opportunity to just sit there and define my footwork. If this is the concept, this is what my footwork needs to be, and just that's it. And I think if I'm able to do that, make it simple, clean and concise, I'll be able just to allow myself to be in a consistent position at all times, and hopefully allow me to be more accurate.
What did you think about your coach Malarkey departing, and how do you feel about Vrabel being your new head coach?
Yeah, it was tough, to be honest with you. But I think our GM, John Robinson, has done it from really the moment he's gone in the building. He's always put the team first. And, I trust every decision he's made. I think he's made a great one in Coach Vrabel. Just sitting down with Coach Vrabel, his vision, his expectations for this team are one that I'm all about and I'm excited about. And I look forward to having him sit down with our guys and just get everybody on the same page.
What has Coach Vrabel told you his expectations were for you?
He told me the sky's the limit, and I truly believe that. And I told him I'm thankful that he wanted to sit down and talk a little bit. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to get to work with Coach LaFleur and Pat, and just get out there and do something a little different. And I think these guys have done an awesome job of getting a staff together that believes in what Coach Vrabel wants to do, and I'm just excited to get to work.
Marcus Mariota, leading the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. You're here at Super Bowl 52. You know all about Tom Brady. You know all about the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Foles is leading the way for them. What are your expectations for this game, for Super Bowl 52? What do you think? What are you looking for?
You know what? It's going to be. I think it's going to come down to what the Eagles can do on offense, and how the Patriots continue to play on defense. I think if they come out and the Eagles are moving the ball first and second down, getting explosive plays, creating third and manageable, moving the sticks, and getting down in the red zone, that's going to be huge. The biggest thing I think is, New England's red zone defense is probably one of the tops in the league. And if the Eagles have an opportunity to score touchdowns down there, they got to. Otherwise, Tom Brady's just going to kind of dink and dunk all the way down and score touchdowns and win the game.
Everybody's been raving about Philadelphia's defense from the standpoint that they can get to the pass rusher. Do you believe that Philadelphia with their front four can do it, or they're going to need more help to get to Tom Brady based on what you've seen going up against the Patriots?
You know what? I think they can. And if they're able to be disruptive and really to be disruptive with those front four guys, then they can create a lot of different matchups in their favor. If you get to Brady, I think you have an opportunity. We'll have to see how that works out.
Marcus Mariota right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. A couple of more things before I let you go. You came out number 2. Jameis Winston went number 1. You've been synonymous with him. Your names are attached to one another. And anytime somebody sees what one of y'all do, they're looking at the other. What kind of thought process goes through your mind as you embark upon this NFL career as it pertains to Jameis Winston? How much do you think about that?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I was fortunate enough. We worked out together coming out. I think that competition drove us to be the best players that we can be. But now, man, I just try to focus on how I can be the best player, and I think he's kind of doing the same thing. And, you got to give him credit. I think he's done well over there.
I got to tell you something right now. I got to tell you a little old story. You'll probably start laughing at me when I tell you this, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. I've always felt that you were a really nice guy, but I didn't like you very much. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't like you very much. That damn game in Pasadena. See, I was there. I went as a fan, and it was the one time in California that I was there, and it was freezing. I was cold, okay? And I thought I was going to see a great game. I thought Florida State was going to beat y'all, but I thought it was going to come down to the wire, and y'all destroyed them. And I had to sit up there in the freezing cold and again get stuck in traffic. I was stuck in traffic for 3 hours trying to get the hell out of the game, and I watched a blowout. And I just felt like, damn, y'all beat them so bad it was just unfair. And I wonder sometimes when people throw the comparison out there, well, Jameis Winston went number 1, Marcus Mariota went number 2. I wonder if you find yourself saying, did y'all not see what we did to them in that national semifinal? Do you ever find yourself saying that, at least whispering that to yourself?
Nah, no way.
Okay, I'm just checking. Before I let you get on out of here, you see these young quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, obviously. You look at him and what he's done, Jared Goff and what he's done. But once upon a time, it was you and Jameis. Now you're hearing all these other quarterbacks come into the fold. How much does that motivate you? I know you're trying to win, and I know you're going to put forth the work, but how much does it motivate you to hear all of these other names coming up from the quarterback spot in the National Football League right now?
Well, I think it's good for the game. I think when you have a bunch of young guys that are playing well, it makes the game more entertaining. And, for me as a competitor, it doesn't matter who lines up across from me on Sundays. I'm going to do the best that I can be and hopefully win that game. So I'm excited. It's fun time right now in the NFL to watch all these guys play well. And, I just want to continue to be one of those guys as well.
Is the footwork going to help you avoid these damn monsters trying to sack you?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, then, damn it, that's motivation to work on that footwork even more.
No doubt.
So they don't hurt you.
Thank you so much.
My man, here for Spam. Spam, let me read this again. Great thing about a product like Spam is its versatility and convenience. With the game this weekend, it's the perfect time to try a Spam recipe such as Spam sliders and Spam fries. Spam fries. You got the right guy here because he's trustworthy. I'm a trust. If you telling me to get these Spam fries, right?
Do it.
I'm gonna listen to Marcus Mariota. I'm gonna listen to him. Good luck next year, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Marcus Mariota right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. 888-729-3776. 888-SAY-ESPN. More to Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. With insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. It's always an honor and privilege to have the guests that I have because they're all exceptional with what they bring to the table. But then again, there's some special individuals. You have special athletes, you have special coaches, and then you have special reporters. Guys who are renowned for what they do in this business. This man has been in this business for many, many years. He has been a colleague, a friend, a mentor, a big brother, a special, special man doing special, special things covering the NFL for all of these years. My buddy, my man Sal Paolantonio.
Oh, it's so great to be with you, Stephen A., here at the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just so great. I'll tell you, my hair stands on end every single day with this experience of covering this team at this time in my life.
Right.
You know, this is my 25th Super Bowl, Stephen A. So it's the confluence of my personal career and this star-crossed franchise, right? And that to me, every day I wake up and try to think, okay, how can I bring something different and special to the viewers and the listeners of ESPN?
And you always do it, but I'm going to go back a little bit further because when I talk about our history together, ladies and gentlemen, when I arrived at the Philadelphia Inquirer in 1993, one of the first people to greet me was a great reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer by the name of Sal Paolantonio. We used to sit up there and eat lunch in the cafeteria together on North Broad Street, 400 North Broad Street. We were eating the caf together. You know, he was covering politics, then he was covering sports, and I was some guy that just came out of covering high school sports in New York, and I started off covering colleges at Philadelphia Inquirer. That's how far back Sal Paolantonio and I go. And I say all of that to say you started writing columns. You were covering the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen a lot in this town with this particular organization. What makes this team so special?
Brotherhood. One word. Brotherhood built out of, I think, two specific people. I'm going to go three specific people. One, I think Doug Peterson has a good heart, a golden heart. Opens his mind.
Seems like a really nice man.
Yes, he opens his heart and mind, and he's willing to adapt and listen. Number two, Malcolm Jenkins. Malcolm Jenkins held this team together after Carson Wentz went down. Malcolm Jenkins' cry to the team in the L.A. Coliseum, we all we got, we all we need, has been a rallying cry, and it's been phenomenal to watch a guy like Malcolm Jenkins go on these parallel tracks of dealing with the social justice issues in the NFL and keeping the team together at the same time. And it really has worked. And then I'm going to say this. I think the togetherness of Carson Wentz and Nick Foles at a time when they were in a serious upheaval after Carson Wentz goes down. You know, the thing about Carson Wentz is he understands what's got to take place in order for this team to get to the Super Bowl and what has to happen, and he doesn't have a scintilla of envy in his soul. This is a guy who understands he's got to open himself up to this young man, Nick Foles, and it's worked.
I'll throw another one in the mix for you for your consideration. I got to give a lot of props to Jeffrey Lurie, and let me tell you why. You have Chip Kelly there a couple of years ago. You get rid of him with one game left in the season.
Yep.
But prior to that, you had shoved Howie Roseman to the side because you were like, hey, this is not what we need. This is what Chip Kelly wants to do. Let's give him an opportunity to sink or swim. You could have thrown Howie out to pasture. He could have went somewhere else. But you kept him in the fold, at least under your umbrella. So once Chip Kelly messed up, which was quick,
you
got Howie back in the mix, and look what's happened.
Yeah, let me tell you something, though. I don't think Chip Kelly gets fired if he goes to the Christmas party.
Maybe so. You're probably right. That's a good point. I forgot about that.
If he goes to the Christmas party, I think he's still a head coach.
Really?
Yeah.
That is that bad?
That one, yes.
Sal Paolantonio right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. One of the things that I contemplate, Sal, watching this game, it's hard for me. I picked the Eagles, even though I'm a bit reticent right now because Alshon Jeffrey opened his mouth and guaranteed that the Philadelphia Eagles would win, which I don't think is smart to give the Patriots bulletin board material. But I will say this. The other thing is Bill Belichick having 2 weeks to prepare for Nick Foles. How come I haven't heard you bring that up?
Well, first of all, Bill Belichick doesn't need 2 weeks to prepare for Nick Foles, first of all. So okay. I don't think that's a major deal. I think what is a major deal in this game is Nick Foles. I've said it, and I'll say it again. I'll say it on your show. If Nick Foles does not turn the ball over, the Eagles will win the football game. It's that simple. You look at Bill Belichick in his career. In his 15 postseason wins, he had turnover battle won. He won the turnover margin, 15-0. And that's the key. He will make you beat yourself, bottom line. And if you don't beat yourself, you got a shot.
Is there another way that the Eagles could beat themselves without Nick Foles turning the football over?
Yeah, we saw it. You got to have sound special teams. In the Carolina Super Bowl, the kicker kicked it out of bounds, gave Tom Brady a short field, and then Adam Vinatieri kicked the field goal to win it with 5 seconds left. Sound special teams. So Jake Elliott can't kick the ball out of bounds. They can't have a special team screw up like they did against the Falcons. But the bottom line is, if the ball doesn't hit Brian Bremen in the derriere, the Falcons don't even score in that game. They don't score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So I think the Eagles' defense is good enough to win the game if Nick Foles doesn't give him a short
field. But I guess
field.
what I'm saying is this. I watched Jacksonville have an elite defense, and they put that against the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
And they weren't turnover prone, but somehow, some way still managed to lose the football game.
Yeah.
How come that can't be the Eagles?
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up because I have a piece right now that's running on SportsCenter. It's on ESPN.com with Tim McManus, our colleague, helping me out, where the Eagles told me that they have done some extra scouting of Gene Steratore and the referee crew and their tendencies, particularly on pass interference, defensive holding, downfield, because of what happened to Jacksonville. The disparity of 98 yards penalties in penalties.
But why
against them.
study that? What are they going to be able to do about the officiating during the game?
Well, you got to study the tendencies of the referees. It's something that all coaches do, but in this particular case, you got to worry about giving Tom Brady a free one. Mm-hmm. A free one with a pass interference call, which is something that Jacksonville did. And it really bit Jacksonville.
Sal Paolantonio, how real, how legitimate are these complaints emanating out of Carolina, St. Louis, and places like that? Oh, Bill Belichick knew our plays. Oh, Bill Belichick knew our practice habits. They knew what we were going to call when we called it, et cetera, et cetera. Basically questioning the legitimacy.
Well, Spygate was real now. Spygate was real.
That's right. I know that.
Spygate was real. They were illegally taping the opposing sideline and stealing the defensive signals. The game's a lot harder when you don't have the defensive signals in advance.
Right. No question.
Okay.
Sal Paolantonio, who you got winning this game, and what's the score?
I'm rooting for the best story. I'm a reporter, Stephen A., through and through. You've known that for 25 years.
That's right.
I'm not in the prediction business. I'm rooting for the best story, and the best story to me, the headline in my old newspaper, your old newspaper, the Philadelphia Inquirer, is Nick Foles beats Tom Brady. That's the best story. That's what I'm rooting for.
Wow. Always the best, man. Always the best to see you, man. I really appreciate you coming on the show. The one and only Sal Paolantonio, my colleague here at ESPN, NFL reporter extraordinaire, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, 888-729-3776, 888-SAY-ESPN. Back with more of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you got a radio show that's nationwide, is in 250 plus markets on free radio across the country, plus Sirius XM Channel 80, you got to have an all-pro. Okay. You got to have an all-world player. I am allergic to scrubs. Scrubs are not allowed on this show.
Straight up.
But I'm going to make it, but I don't have to make an exception because I'm talking to a man who is not a scrub. He's here. Obviously representing Mountain Dew Ice supporting team, hashtag Ice Cold, an epic rap battle between Morgan Freeman and Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. I didn't even know that. I'm talking to the great Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers right here with Stephen A. What's going on, big time?
Good, baby.
Good to see you.
It's always good to be with you, man.
It's always good to be with you. Now, let's get this straight.
All right, let's go.
We got to get right down to it because I don't have time. What the hell is this about? You might hold out. You might come to play next year. I want you to get your money.
Right,
you deserve every penny.
Right.
But damn it, we don't need to be talking about you sitting out. We need you in Pittsburgh. We need you.
Man, you know, I don't want to do that. I just hope. And I got asked that question when I was literally sitting in the locker room.
Okay.
Got out of practice. I'm showering. I just got dried off, and they asked me a question. Cameras in my face, man. I'll just answer the question just bluntly, honestly.
Right.
And asked me, saying, would you sit out? I'm like, of course I'll consider sitting out, but I don't want to do that. I love playing football. I want to go out there and play football. I just want to make sure everything's right,
What is right, though? Because you were just on the record. Everybody, listen, somebody said $60 million to play for the Jets. You said $60 million ain't enough to play for that team. And I don't blame you no matter what Jamal Adams said. No matter what he said. Oh, no, you can't go to the Steelers to the Jets. Can't do that. But what's the right deal for Le'Veon Bell?
Man, look, I feel like for me, I want my value. I want to set the market for the running backs. Adrian Peterson had, the biggest deal. This is about 6 years ago. He signed for $14.5 million. I want to get more than that. Obviously, I feel like, it's time for that. I'm the guy that deserves it. I've been playing at a high level for such a long time, and I got to get the job done. I feel like.
I guess what I'm asking you is this. You want to be the highest paid running back in football.
Ever.
I think, ever. Because the money they're getting paid today wasn't getting paid back in the day. Right. So clearly it's going to be ever, right? That's fine. But if you're the highest paid running back ever, right, and you deserve that, but what if they came to you with, all right, no running back has gotten 17 to 18 million per, and here's what we're going to give you. I consider that. Is there a definitive number that you know in your heart is right?
Honestly, yeah, there is. I feel like with Pittsburgh, I can kind of lower that number a little bit because it is Pittsburgh, and I understand, how you get the home team discount, things like that. But if I was hit free agency and hit the market, I need 14 as a running back because I match Adrian Peterson's number, running the ball, and I'm the number 2 receiver. I've been number 2 receiver ever since I've been playing football. Number 2 receivers make $6 to $7 million a year.
And it's interesting that you say that because you keep bringing up receiver because what you seem to be trying to tell everybody is stop looking at me as just a running back. The Steelers use me everywhere.
Everywhere, and people want to just put it on the position. I do so much more than the position presents itself. You know what I'm saying? We run a lot of 5 wide, man. It's 5 receivers. And guys who defensive game planning, they can't sit here and run another DB out there because we could be in an I formation. We could be in single back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a mismatch. I'm creating a mismatch in the huddle, and they don't even realize where I'm going to line up at. So I feel like my value, to the game of football is a lot more than just the position, and I think people need to start realizing that.
You feel that way, but it was also helped by the fact that Todd Haley was your offensive coordinator. He is not there anymore.
Right.
How much of an effect do you think that's going to have on this team?
I think it'll help us.
Why?
Just because I feel like maybe it was something between Ben and Todd. I think it was just a little something. They always kept it professional, but I just think it was something with those guys. They didn't really click. I think Randy, he was the quarterback coach. Obviously, Ben loves Randy. Those guys connect. I feel like it was a lot of third downs. Todd would maybe call something that Ben didn't like. There's certain plays that Ben didn't like. You as a player, you always got plays that you like, plays you dislike. It'll be a big situation. Todd called play that Ben don't necessarily like, and he tried to go out there and just execute it because the play's called. But Randy's always going to kind of give Ben what he wants, make him comfortable, because third downs, that's the biggest thing. That was our Achilles heel was third downs and red zone. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, damn it, you say that was your Achilles heel. You must be talking about offense. You can't be talking about the
I'm talking about the offense.
I'm watching them damn corners, and I'm watching them damn safeties, and I don't want to hear about an Achilles heel with the offense. Don't get me started. I keep telling Mike T to fix the damn secondary to save his life. We're talking to Le'Veon Bell right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. He's here on behalf of Mountain Dew Ice. Supporting team #Ice Cold, an epic rap battle between Morgan Freeman and Peter Dinklage. So the bottom line is this: you ain't looking to leave.
Nah, absolutely not.
You're just looking to get paid.
Hey, I'm just looking to get paid.
How confident are you that they're gonna pay you? What have they told you?
I'm a lot more confident, this year around February 2nd than I was last year. Because last year I felt like, we're not gonna get nothing done. This year I got, we probably gonna get something done. They told me, we're making you a priority. We got to move some things around and things like that, so they can make everything right. And that's as long as I feel happy, I feel confident like that. No, I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
What the hell happened against Jacksonville? Man. 42 points. 42 points.
45. They had 45.
45. I'm sorry. 38 on defense because Ben with the strip sack.
Right.
What happened? What happened to y'all that day?
Man, offensively, I feel like there was a lot of possession downs we lost. So third downs, Jacksonville got off at the right time. Fourth downs, we didn't convert any fourth down. They got off at the right time. I think we got going a little too late. We ain't start playing real offense until about the second half. Our defense kind of laid the egg the whole game.
Y'all weren't looking ahead to the Patriots?
With me, me personally, I wasn't. Even though I made the tweet like, I'm about to run around another round too. It's not. I was still worried about Jacksonville. I knew Jacksonville was a good team. Like, we played them earlier in the year. Like, I respected those guys. But people saying like, it's gonna give Jacksonville motivation. It's gonna make them play harder. Like, if you don't got motivation, you in the playoff, like you like one and done. Like, you ain't got motivation anyway. It don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really tripping about the tweet.
Well, I don't mind you talking, even when you talk. Mike Mitchell a little bit different. A little bit different. I like him, but a little bit different. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I definitely feel you because I'm talking, but I gotta go out there and perform, and I still feel like I perform. I had one of my best games of the year, but we gonna get it done for you. We gonna get it done for you.
You gonna get it done?
Yeah, we gonna get it done.
I believe in you. I believe in Antonio Brown. Does Big Ben want to play? I believe in Big Ben when he really wants to play. Does he really want it?
I think earlier in the year, He was still kind of thinking about but when we got in the midst of the season, near the end of the season,
Juju Smith-Schuster and Martavis Bryant, you believe in them? They want it bad? They going to be here?
Yeah. Juju's an amazing player. He reminds me of myself when I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an amazing player, yes.
But you still got questions about the defense. What you going to say to them? Going to tell them to get it done?
Yeah, we got to do something with the D. I don't know what they're going to do in the draft. Maybe free agency, but we got to do something with the defense, man.
Prediction on the Super Bowl real quick.
I'm going to go ahead and go, man, I want the Eagles to win, but I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not going to pick against Tom Brady. Patriots probably going to win.
Especially with Belichick having 2 weeks to prepare for Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Listen.
Hey, I like Nick Foles. I don't understand why people don't like Nick Foles. He's not Carson Wentz. No, absolutely not. But Nick Foles is good. He's solid.
He all right, but he's going against the Patriots, man.
Yeah. But it's the system. It's the Eagles system. He can do that.
I picked him until Alshon Jeffrey, that damn man, just opened his mouth and guaranteed a Super Bowl win.
I seen that.
That's not good.
No, not good at all.
Against the Patriots? All the best to you, man.
Hey,
I'm proud of you. Happy you get your money, baby.
You already know, baby.
You got my number. We'll holler.
No, for sure.
Le'Veon Bell better get his money. He better get his money. I'll holler at you later. No doubt. Le'Veon Bell, the great Le'Veon Bell right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Back with your calls to close out the show in a minute.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Get your Valentine's needs knocked out today, please, with up to 60% off best-selling bouquets, arrangements, and gifts from 1-800-Flowers.com. To score up to 60% off, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. To the phones we go before we get on out of here. Again, I have predicted that the Philadelphia Eagles would win this Super Bowl, and then Alshon Jeffrey opened his mouth and provided the New England Patriots with bulletin board material that has forced me to change my mind. I am not going to support the Eagles on this. It was a stupid thing to say, and I don't believe you do that to a Tom Brady, Bill Belichick team. It's made me nervous. Damn it, I'm admitting it. I know it's weak, but it's the truth. Back to the phones we go. Jeff in Detroit, you're live with Stephen A. Go.
Stephen A., you got the best show on radio. Don't change a thing. Hey, just making a comment about everyone's asking what Philly's going to do to beat the Patriots. Well, my question is, Tom Brady will run a 2-minute offense to begin the game. Him and Belichick have had too much time to figure out a way to stop the Philly defensive front. And if they wear them down, keep the same 4 guys on the field for that first drive, that will set the pace for the entire game. And the Patriots are a whole different team when they run a 2-minute drill. And I think that's
I disagree because the Eagles change up. They interchange their defensive units, their defensive front 4, and they bring the house. But they don't necessarily have to rush more than 4 to do it. They just throw fresh bodies at you, and these guys come after it. So I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll see. Thanks for the call. D'Angelo in Maryland, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, Stephen A? I just wanted to talk about Mariota and the Super Bowl real quick. You was one of the few that always gave him love or whatnot about the Jameis Winston comparison and whatnot. And I just wanted to say, like you said, he got smoked in the national championship game. You was there and you saw that. Their first rookie game was against each other. Jameis was at home. Mariota goes out there and throws 4 touchdown passes in the first half, which never been done in NFL history. He's alongside the only player that had done that. A Hall of Famer by the name of Fran Tarkenton. He's the only player that done that, but that took him the whole game to do it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I don't really agree with the comparison, and then I think that comparison is dead. And that Mariota has passed
Stop. You're just talking. I heard your points. The point is the comparisons is because they went 1 and 2 in the NFL. You're always going to compare Peyton Manning to Ryan Leaf. We all know Ryan Leaf never compared to Peyton Manning as a football player, right? But you still mention them in the same breath because one went 1, one went 2. That's all that's about. Now, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
Super Bowl prediction is Philly. I'm going to go with that. I know Alshon came out and said what he said, but I pray that you don't have to eat a Philly crow. And it's going to take a long time to digest that, man.
I hope that. I hope they win, man. I really do. I'm actually rooting for the Eagles to win. And you know I love Mr. Kraft, but I love the Eagles. I want them to win this game. It would be nice, but I don't know. I just don't know right now. Sean in Florida, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Stephen A., I had 2 things I wanted to run by you. I got a concern and I got something I'm not concerned about. But what it is the defense. That's what my concern is, first and foremost, the actual defense for the Eagles. Only because if we get exposed, is going to be in the passing game with the DBs, and it's only going to be really, if I have to specify, which I don't want to do, but I'm going to, it's going to be Jalen Mills. And Sydney, what I want to do, Stephen A., please do me a favor, like next week, or if you can, talk about Sidney Jones. He's the corner on the Eagles. He was, number 2 in the draft. He was drafted in the second round.
I'll talk about those who perform well and are worthy of being discussed. Call me Monday. Appreciate the call. What's that, Paul in Pittsburgh? You're live with Stephen A.
Stephen A., good afternoon,
Go ahead,
my
man.
brother.
Go ahead, my man. How are you?
First and foremost, I want to say that it's very difficult on any occasion to pick against Brady and Belichick for the obvious reasons. But most importantly, Stephen A., I want to just commend you for your comments this morning regarding the situation with Green Bay releasing Rodgers as quarterback coach. That was, as always, very profound and spot on. So truer words have never been said, and I totally agree with you. Rodgers should go back and go to the league, to the team office, and say, listen, you know what, give me my papers. I need to go.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate the call. Matt in Philly, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead, Matt.
Stephen A., how you doing?
I'm all right, man. You only got a couple of minutes left. Go ahead, buddy.
This Alshon thing that you keep doing. First, I want to say thank you for going back and taking the Patriots, because your NBA record got me a little nervous. But second of all, Alshon predicted this before the season even started.
I love how weak individuals who don't do their research go off about my NBA record. Let me tell you something right now. Do you realize that before last year, 4 of my previous 6 picks all came down to injuries? You can't predict injuries. But go ahead. Go back to Alshon Jeffrey. Go ahead.
You didn't do research on this because Alshon predicted this before the season. So why would he all of a sudden turn back
because
on him?
it's not about research on this. It's about what he just told Tom Pelissero. That's what the story was. I understand that we predicted during the season. I'm just simply saying this news report is what he told Tom Pelissero, specifically about going up against the New England Patriots.
But he predicted the Eagles would win the Super Bowl before the season started.
But he didn't know who it was going to be against. So I'm saying now that you know it's going to be against Brady and Belichick, and it's days leading up to the Super Bowl, and providing bulletin board material, which elite coaches usually hate their personnel doing, is not the wisest thing to do, in my opinion. But we'll find out.
I got you. Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Lorenzo in New York. Real quick, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead, real quick, Lorenzo.
Yes, Stephen A., real quick, Dr. Love. I just want to say, I was watching the Mike K show, and I saw you walk by. You did have a lot of security out there, brother. I just want to let you know that. I've seen you. I
didn't hire security. I didn't ask them to escort me. A whole bunch of them escorted me because they saw me getting mobbed wherever I go. What do you want me to do?
Because you're Dr. Love. That's how you roll. Eagles. I predict Eagles, brother.
Okay. Why?
All right.
You don't even know. You just called up to sit there and be heard over the airwaves. You don't even know why you're picking the Eagles. You just said, I'm picking the Eagles. But have a nice day. It's no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. This is one of the toughest picks I've ever had to do in my life. I picked the Eagles on First Take this morning, but they got me a little reticent on that pick because Alshon Jeffrey opened his damn mouth and made a guarantee. In the end, what it comes down to is what I'm hoping for more than anything is an epic Super Bowl that's decided in the final waning minutes, if not seconds. Until then, peace and love. Holla at y'all Monday. Enjoy Super Bowl 52.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.